Hi there. Welcome to a very fun episode of Back Punch. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. I just do what?
I see that you've got scissors for
Do-
hands.
do
That's
what?
what I'm seeing here.
Well, funny you should mention scissors, mister. Today we're going to talk about one of the most tried and true traditions of America, Halloween, where we eat candy and beg from our neighbors for more food.
Truth.
And we also try to scare the pants off of each other, and if you're an American, you know how easy that is. We're just threatening thermonuclear war, and everyone starts to get real nice and toasty by the fire.
Very true.
First thing we're going to talk about today, by the way, this is my heterosexual life mate, Derek Burden. I'm dressed up today as someone pretending to be a host for a popular show on the MUTV network, and
I see what you did there.
And Derek is dressed up as my heterosexual life mate.
AKA myself.
Yeah.
I don't put a lot of efforts into costumes.
Neither do I. Anyway, the first game we're going to talk about is the first one I could think of. It's going to be called Outlast. I've never played it. It has stuff in it. There's monsters, and I'm pretty sure it's Cloverfield the game, because the entirety of the game you have a camera and night mode, and that's the only reason you survive.
Basically, the plot of the game is you're an investigative journaler and you're sent a...
Journaler?
I realize, journalist, for those of you who are stingy about your words.
Journaler.
Matt's the best journaler. But you're sent a letter asking for help and mentioning a big scoop in a place called Mount Massive. It holds a insane asylum. So you get
Now let
there.
me stop you right there, Outlast. You decide then to go alone to this person you don't know's house, to go to this insane asylum with nothing but a handheld camera. Best move ever or best move ever?
To entertain people, the best move ever. The game scares the crap out of you in the new fashion that is, it's a reference to some of the older days where you couldn't kill monsters. I know I've talked about it before with Amnesia and other such games like Penumbra, but it focuses on the inability to kill a monster where you run away from it and have to hide.
So they're trying to make you feel more powerless because your impotence is covered up by the fact that you can't actually kill the monster.
Right, because like Resident Evil 4, and I know it's a bad example, but it's supposed to be a horror game, and its predecessors, were scary, but in 4, when they let you completely aim your gun and made them pretty good and let you upgrade them, there was no reason to be afraid of anything. The only mildly scary moment was near the end of the game. You're walking through a basement, and with no reason to expect it, a furnace explodes and a zombie runs out after you, but then it falls dead because it was on fire.
It's hard to be afraid of something when you're mowing things down like the freaking god of war.
Yeah. But that's what this game goes for. It goes for the inability to fight back. And unlike in Amnesia, there's multiple creatures and
There's multiple creatures in Amnesia. That's a misconception.
There are, but they all act the same way. Some are just faster than others.
Mm-hmm.
In this, they all
and
do...
some are invisible.
True. In this, they do different things, and they have different AI, different ways to find you and follow you. They'll, unlike Amnesia, where you could hide in the only cabinet in a room and just wait a few minutes and be fine. If there's only one hiding place in a room, in Outlast, the creature will open up the doors and get you.
For the record, the creatures in Amnesia will do that as well.
Will they?
They will, if they see you even slightly going into it, they'll open the doors.
Right, but if they see you go into the room and you close the door before they see it, you're fine.
It's not your fault that they're elder gods and don't understand how doors work.
That's true.
Anyway, we're not going to talk about Amnesia because we always talk about Amnesia. It's
Yeah.
obviously one of the better horror games of our generation, and honestly, we could pander about it all day long, but that seems boring. We're not going to talk about Slender because Slender's 4 years old, or something like that.
They did make a new Slender with small improvements, like multiple stages, but it really didn't improve on a whole lot besides graphics. Plays the same similar type of wood setup for the first stage, and you run away from Slender Man.
It's Mannequin Effect the game.
Yep.
Woo. And if you don't know what Mannequin Effect is, that feeling you get when you're at the bottom of the stairs, you turn off your light and you start to walk up the stairs and you have this urge to run because something's about to grab you. It's the Mannequin Effect.
It's slightly more than that. It's the idea that when you're not looking at things, they move. Most specifically mannequins, because they have a human-like form.
Like Toy Story?
Like Toy Story.
That movie scared the...
That's the light side of Mannequin Effect.
No, that was terrifying to me.
Oh, it's terrifying.
I didn't want Woody to be alive. If I ever saw a Woody doll, I threw it into a bonfire just to be sure. Sid was the hero of that movie.
It was.
People often don't realize that. They don't. It makes
true.
me sad. But anyway, other scary things that made me want to wet my shorts. Besides Outlast, well, prostate exams always might make it onto that list.
You never, ever want to do that. You always have to run. You're powerless against
exactly.
them.
I mean, this is 2013. What are we going to do? Not have someone
Not do a prostate exam? You have
stick
to.
their finger up your prostate?
I mean, I'd like to talk about a game that goes back to old school styles. It's called Lone Survivor. It's done...
Sounds boring and lonely.
It's a little lonely.
Like
it's about a guy who wakes up and he can't remember most of what's happening because he's been surviving alone for he can't remember how long. But there's some sort of outbreak of a disease.
Zombies.
Basically zombies. They never come out and say it. But you have to get food, ammo, and other resources to go and survive. They give you ways to get around. It's sort of a Metroidvania in that respect, that like you have to go to this area to get the scissors that let you cut through the meat walls to get to new areas.
There's meat walls.
There's meat walls. Another hook of the game is that you're pretty sure your character's going insane. And fun little bit, they added a feature where you find pills, and if you take them, you black out for a moment, and when you wake up, you mysteriously have new items in your inventory. So it's a way that, like, if you're really, really low on food, you can take a pill, and you might find a sandwich in your inventory. You don't know how it got there, but if you do it enough, the game actually will make your character hallucinate. So there will be extra zombies, but you don't know which ones are real and which ones are fake.
Before we go any further, the scariest game I ever played was called Eternal Darkness, where it was riddled with parts where they would blank out your TV and pretend like there was actually errors with your TV, and then you would come back in a different room at a different time. And it's really just, it feels like you're going insane throughout the entire game.
Is this the GameCube game?
The GameCube game.
Yeah.
If you've ever played it, pick it up. Eternal Darkness, 5 stars out of 5 stars in the basement star system.
And they also do one other thing that makes me... this is what made it the most horrifying game to me. Sometimes when you walk into new rooms, it'll just have a random event that happens. And one of them is that it'll open up your memory manager and show you the game deleting your save files for other games.
That's
horrifying.
How terrifying that is. Anyway, that's all the time we have in the basement today. What other treacherous deeds wait for you? I don't know. Keep watching Backpack Punch to find out. Ooga booga.